Good morning, everybody. This is your boy, Jim Austin, coming to you on Jim Austin Online. We are here in the Stockyards podcast recording studios and historic Stockyards in Fort Worth. I'm excited to be here. It's a little cold outside. I think just below 40 degrees, so I got my red sweater on and I'm warm. I'm here in my studio and I'm getting ready to do another interview, another podcast. You know, the Austin File is about commercial real estate and what goes on in the market, also let you know what's happening in the market. And we interview people that are interesting, that have something to say, got something on their mind, and we try to pull it out of them here at the Austin File. So I'm excited to welcome Elizabeth Stevens as my new subject interviewee. How you doing today, Elizabeth?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me, Jim.
Yes. This new technology of Zoom keeps us, makes it easier to communicate and talk with each other. And I want to welcome you here. Elizabeth just released a book, November 1st, the Porch Puppies. A sequel will be coming out July 15, 1921. I see she's a very detailed person because she's got the date sequel's gonna be released. I like someone that's got control of their life to the exact date and moment. And we're talking just under a year, so we're going to be watching out for that sequel called The Reunion of the Porch Puppies. But Elizabeth is in Dallas, actually Allen, and it's so good to welcome you here to my podcast show, and a graduate of Eastern New Mexico University, graduate degree from SMU. So it means that she's a very smart person because they don't give degrees out in those schools for anybody that's not smart. So glad to know you. I look forward to letting you share some of your smarts with me for sure.
But, I sure hope I don't disappoint you.
Well, you got that degree.
Well, I can't think of anything smart to say. I'm sorry you're going to be disappointed.
Well, you're an author too, so you put your smartness in writing. So that's wonderful. Tell us about where you grew up, and tell us a little bit about your family, and speak a little bit about your passion. What makes you get up every day and do what you do?
Well, I was the third child of an Air Force brat. My father was a military chaplain for 20 years, and then he served many congregations as a civilian minister as well. So we moved all over the place. I was born in Japan, but I have no memories of that. I was, very young when we left, but we lived in many, many places. I ended up attending SMU for graduate work, and I just kind of stuck around. So I called Texas my home. I've been here for over 30 years, and I have a piano studio here that I've taught for over 30 years. And I would say that that's my passion. Really, writing this children's book, The Porch Puppies, and then now its sequel, has just kind of happened. And I'll tell you how that happened. I was working at one point for another person during the day, and I was having my studio in the evenings. And when I was there, I overheard that there were some abandoned puppies out at his lake house. And so I jumped right on that, brought the puppies in, found people who would give them a forever home. And in the process, I met a lot of people, friends. I didn't meet, but I had a lot of friends, a lot of families step up and want to help out in any way that they could in order to just be helpful. And so during the whole process, I thought to myself, this would make a really good children's book, because it was an opportunity for them to learn about the responsibility of taking care of an animal, about the opportunities that sometimes present to people to help out in any way that they can, whether it be financially or with their time or through other sort of, through another act of kindness. And so I thought this would make a really good children's book. And so because of that, I decided to write it. I really never thought I would write a book. It was a little scary, to tell you the truth, because I kept thinking to myself, I haven't had an English class in 40 years. What am I doing then? But I just thought the message was a really good one for children. And so I wrote it. And the way the sequel came about was my sister, who taught second grade at Faith Lutheran here in Plano for forever. She read it to her class to just kind of get some feedback about the book. Did the kids like it? Would they be interested? I guess the big question is, would you want to check this book out in the library? And so she did that, and all the kids were like, yeah, they love the book. But there's this one little boy who said, well, I loved it, but I don't think I'd want to check it out. And she said, well, but if you love it, why wouldn't you want to check it out? And he said, well, it made me sad when the puppies got split up. And so I thought, there's my second idea, the reunion of the Porch Puppies, because I didn't want this little boy to be sad. So really, the writing of these books have just kind of evolved because I felt like they had an important message for children to hear, but it was never something that I really thought I would ever do.
Wow. I mean, when you talk about puppies, you talk about dogs and pets, you hit the hammer right on the head. So I'm glad you wrote this book because it relates to when dogs have their litters and you break the puppies up. So thank you for taking the time and sharing your thoughts and your passion about that. So the litter, the first litter of these puppies that you went and got out of the house, how many puppies was it?
There were 4.
4?
Initially, we were able to catch 3 because they had just been dropped off, and so we were initially able to catch 3, and then the 4th one came and joined later.
What about the mother? What happened with the mother?
We have no idea. You know how that goes. Somebody just picked up these puppies, didn't want them, and just dropped them off basically the side of the road.
Well, I used to have a miniature German Schnauzer. His name was Max. He was pedigreed. And we also got Maxine, another black-haired Schnauzer. So I had probably Max and Maxine had 5 litters. And I thought I was in the puppy business, but I enjoyed it. I love my German Schnauzers, and Max lived to be 18 years old, and he was just a personality. He was really smart, and he was pedigreed. So hats off to you. Have you had other litters or other puppies that come into your life?
Well, I've always been inclined to bring home strays, so it doesn't really surprise me that I did this as an adult. And I've always had dogs, and like your dog that you've had for 18 years, I had one that lived to be 14, and she was kind of a miracle puppy. When I first got her, she got very, very sick because, again, she had been one that was literally dropped off at the side of the road, and I picked her up through one of these wonderful SPCA programs, and because she was given her shots as soon as they picked her up, but because it was after when she should have had them as a puppy, she got very, very sick. And I brought her to the vet, and the vet said, she's not going to make it. We don't know really what she has. She either has, he said, viral pneumonia or distemper, but either way, she's not going to make it. And so, of course, I was boo-hooing. And I went home, and I used to sit in the bathroom with her, and I would, have all the steam from the bathroom, try to help her lungs. And he gave me some antibiotics just in case maybe it would help. And anyway, about a month later, his nurse called and was wondering how she was doing, expecting me to say, well, she died. And I said, oh, she's great. Because after about 5 days, I used to wrap her up in a towel, and she'd sleep with me at nighttime. And after about 5 days, she just shook off that towel, and she was perfectly fine. And I always tell people, I think she just knew she had a fat cat deal and she wasn't going to leave, But at any rate, here she was, this puppy that had been abandoned, had not got its shots on time, and was supposed to die, and she lived to be 14. So, it was like losing a kid at that point because I'd had her so long. And I'm sure you experienced the same thing when you had your dog for 18. I mean, it's definitely a part of your family.
Yeah, yeah. My wife just boo-hooed, and she said that was my dog, and it's just it's tragic to lose a pet. It's just like a child. And what is your message that you want children to learn by reading your book and participating with your book? And then,
Well, I think that there are a lot of smaller messages. Um, for example, when you were talking about how the dogs, when you've had them that long, it's like a child, and they really are part of your family. I think that's one of the messages that comes out of the book, that you have a dog and that is their forever home. And so one of the things I have in my book is I have before pictures and then current pictures. And what's really interesting is that and this wasn't what my initial thought when I decided to include the pictures, but what's really interesting is that you see how everybody ages. Because for this one pup called Barry, when he was adopted into his forever home, the two kids were children. I think that the girl was, I think, 5. And so now it's been like 7 years and she's a teenager. So you really see that, when you have an animal, it becomes part of your family. And in this other photo, you can see how the person has grayed, so it's kind of a side message to the people that these are their forever homes, and see how they grow with the family. But the main message was to teach children about responsibility, and even above that was to look for opportunities where you can do some good, whether you do an act of kindness and you help somebody because you give financially, if that happens to be your gift, or if it's your time, or if it's just some act of kindness. But that is the main point of the book, that there are many opportunities to step up and help people if we're just aware, and we should take those opportunities.
wow, wow. I'm excited for the release, November the 1st. Today is, what's the day, kids? 26, 27?
The
27?
27th.
Yeah, so I'll be looking for it. Waldorf Publishing, Barbara Terry, what
Yes.
a great person and making things happening in the publishing business. I don't know if you know this, Barbara is my neighbor. And
I know that.
yeah, Barbara's my neighbor, and we talk weekly. And she said, Jim, would you be interested in interviewing, some of my authors on your show? I said, I would love to. So, I mean, this is good. We will post this interview on YouTube, and we hope that you'll share it with friends. My wife and I are founders of the National Multicultural Western Heritage Museum. And if you would go grab our website, cowboysofcolor.org, and we would love to talk to you about maybe writing a children's book about the history of the forgotten cowboys. That's what we highlight. So I would be
That'd be very interesting.
take a look at that. And then when you have your first book signing, let us know, and we can
Okay.
post it on my social media and let everybody know. And if you ever get over here to Fort Worth, stop by the Stockyards podcast recording studio. The coffee is always hot, and would love to meet you personally.
Well, thank you. I will absolutely do that.
Yeah,
I very much.
let's stay in touch with each other. So we're 20 minutes run so quickly. In wrapping up our conversation, what would be your thoughts is to parents in regards to suggestions on how it would be best for them to take advantage of your book and your experience with children and your story?
Well, my book is available as of November 1st in retail stores and online. You can also, of course, go to the Waldorf Publishing website and purchase one there. They can also go to my personal piano website, ElizabethStevensPianostudio.com, and anything that they purchase there, I will sign before sending out. So there are many, many ways for them to get a copy of this book if they would like to read it.
What does it retail for?
Well, that depends upon where they buy it. I know that on Amazon, it's retailing for $14.95.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
probably like anything else. If they want to shop around, different retailers are probably going to offer it for a different amount. I charge, if they go to my website, I charge a flat fee of $20, and then I sign it, and that includes the tax and it includes the shipping. So it's just a flat fee.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal. I'll talk to my wife Gloria, and we'll try to go ahead and purchase a copy for our library. And
well, I appreciate that, but I would love to just send you a copy for having me on. This was very, very nice of you to do.
man, you just made my day. Okay.
well, you can just send me the spot to send it to, and if you have a grandchild that you want to read it to, or a child that you want to read it to, and you want that inscribed to them, I'm happy to do it. And I hope that you have some very wonderful memories reading it with whatever important children you have in your life.
Well, that seems like a very nice gift to give someone, because people love their children, love their pets, and I know a number of people in my friendship that would love to have a copy of your book for sure. And this has been good talking with you. Give out your website and contact information. Oh, one question. I'm headed towards 70 years old, and is it too late for me to learn how to play piano?
No, it's not. Not at all. I know adults never think that they can, but they absolutely can. But if you decide to do so, Jim, I give you one tip.
Yes.
Please do not be hard on yourself. That is the hardest part about an adult, because as an adult, you do so many things well. You've accomplished so much in your lifetime, and then you begin as a beginner, obviously, on the piano, and your teacher will say, Jim, you're doing this so well, or whatever, and you're going to be sitting there going, oh yeah, right, she's just telling me that. But you have to remember that as a beginner, you really are doing well. So if you take, and I would encourage you to take, because music is so important for the brain, and we need that as we get older, that you are very kind to yourself, and you accept the compliments that are given to you by your teacher, because the person is being truthful to you.
Well, if you had a message or a motto that you live by, would you be so kind to share that with us as an educator? And as I said, I know you're very smart, because if you got that degree from SMU and your other school, that you're smart. So give us a message that we can share, because this is going on the worldwide net, and we want to share your thoughts, because you are a teacher, and it's been my pleasure to talk to you, because it opened up my passion, and it made me remember Max and Maxine, who I was, they were my pet, they were my friends, and the reason Max lives to be so long, so old, he would drink a lot of water, and he would stretch. So I think that is one of the secrets to long life, is that exercise and drinking a lot of water. So that's my message, but let me get your message. What would be your thoughts and recommendations, and what you live your life, how you live your life by?
Well, that's a good question. And really, it's something I've never really thought about in terms of expressing. But I will say that in my prayers every night, I always pray that I'm better tomorrow than I was today. And, I guess that would be what I live by. I, like everybody else, we're not perfect and we make mistakes, but I always pray that tomorrow I'm better than I was today.
Okay. Well, this is, I can take that with me. I'm going to go ahead and close out our interview. It's been a joy to speak with you. And if ever you just reach out to me if I can be of any help to you. And I'm going to go ahead. We're going to close out. I'm going to tell our listening audience to the Austin File. Catch my show on Jim Austin Online. I want to thank Elizabeth for being such a kind person and taking time out of her day. And I wish you much success on the first book. I'm going to call you on July 15, 21 to
9 a.m.
see that this book, The Reunion of the Porch Puppies. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed
Thank
talking.
you, Jim.
Okay.
Thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure.
Yes.